Afternoon. Thank everybody for coming. The sun is brighter, the nights are better, the sleep is better. The rooms are warmer, the places are better when you win everywhere you go. So it was a good game for us this weekend. I thought Ryan Griffin was something else. Now he was sensational. Nothing short of anything that you could ever ask for as a quarterback. I think the offensive line played well. They didn't get touched. The receivers played well. Defensively, we gave up some points, but we had a couple of turnovers, and if you're going to give up yards and points, you got to get some turnovers, and we did. Special teams, Monroe again. Every week I'm come up and say the same name, the same theme over and over. Is Darian Monroe was something special. So, any questions? When I think this with those young guys, these guys, if you in a real programs of college football, those young guys should be redshirting, but they all playing. I got three freshmen, true freshmen starting in the secondary. If you tell me if I was in the NFL and you say three rookies starting, I'd throw out all of them all day long. We wouldn't run one time, but they've been great. Lorenzo Doss had 2 picks this game, so that's bright. I think Royce. These young kids now. There's a lot of freshmen and redshirt freshmen who are playing. What's happening in our defense? We're starting to get banged up. We're starting to get hurt. At the game, it was like for a couple series, it was like one guy after another, and in football, once you begin to get injured in those positions, you just hard to come back during this season. It's all the above, but it's the quarterback's position. Because one thing now, the other quarterbacks, and nothing against them ever, it's just that they weren't ready to play in those games. All of a sudden, you got your fifth-year starter in. He understands protections. He understands how to get you in good plays, and he understands, everything. It just looks better. He could call a play. We're not having substitution penalties and stuff like that because he's in command of everything. And I don't know if a freshman or a guy who never really started could manage the game like that. I think that, and I think the offensive line is starting to gel. We got Darkwar back. We're starting to get some guys on offense back. And the receivers are, they've been playing good all year, but with a little bit of a running game, you're playing well. And then now on the defensive side, we're giving up some points again, but you're getting turnovers. So, you kind of pleased with where you're headed. What the plays are the same. Again, it's the quarterback understanding. He's not running the ball in the down safety plays. He's running it when he's supposed to. He's throwing it when he's supposed to. And I think the offensive line, you got 4 guys who hadn't played ever before, and now all of a sudden, here it is. They're starting to play. And they're starting to play together. They're starting to understand the calls. Well, if Ryan IDs the mic right, the defense right, then the offensive line knows exactly who to block. Sometime before those guys wasn't getting ID'd right, so it looked worse than it really was. So I think they're starting to play together, and then they're getting a little bit of confidence. So I tell them they got to get a little swagger about them, and they're starting to do that. And so now we're running the ball better. So I like where they're headed. I like the direction.
Thursday there's a conference announced for the naming for the stadium, and just curious how involved you've been in terms of trying to lock down the final pieces for the fundraising for the stadium.
Well, there's going to be a piece in this naming that I had something to do with. But no, everybody's been great, and I've been out on the road and been different places, campaigning for this, and I think it's just with the doctor's order here at Tulane. I think some other places can get by going somewhere else, but I just, like I always said, I just love for students to just get out of bed, bring their parents, have at home coming to professors, everybody just come to the game and support. The community falls in behind us, and I just think that it's just magnificent for these young men.
When you came here, you kind of made a bridge between the Saints and Tulane, so to speak.
You know what, Mr. Benson and Mrs. Benson, Rita, Mickey was at the game. He stayed. I couldn't believe he stayed the whole game. I knew he had better things to do. I know he has those twins. But all of them, Sean, everybody over there, really, they are the guys that really gave me the confidence and have been helping me, with this job. And I just feel that they are an integral part of my life and my past that, that I just would never give up. I will always have those people with me at all times just because how important they are to me. And I think being here at Tulane, who's given me my first opportunity to, to coach on a head coaching level, I just appreciate them and the Bensons and everybody over at the Saints. So it's just a happy marriage right now between all of us.
One last question along those lines. I mean, there's also kind of opens the door financially. Clearly, in that realm.
You're killing me.
But was that something? I mean, did you? I guess actively go after.
Well, I think Mr. Benson and Mickey and all those guys are they give to all kind of projects and everything. I mean, there'll be a Christmas drive. They just loving people who love to give. And I'm just fortunate to be in their company and then for them to help us out over here at Tulane.
All right, I'm going to go to the end now. Let's talk about Rice. Their quarterback obviously is more of a dual threat. I mean, he has some, he obviously has some ability with his feet as well as with his arms. You guys are shifting gears just a little bit this week. If you sort of talk about the pass for the defense, especially in light of the amount of points they gave up last week.
You know what I think? I think defensively, I think this is what we got to do. We just got to watch our cues and just wait for our times to come. Look, if I'm gonna sit here and tell you they won't score any points or gain any yards, that would be the best thing in the world. But they may. Here's what we gotta do. We just gotta keep him off balance a little bit. He's to them what Ryan Griffin is to us. I mean, he's their go-to guy. He's their guy. So he will move the ball. He will do something. But we got a couple wrinkles in that, knock on wood, it works out well for us. But I just think, I think our defense will be up for the challenge, and I think they'll play well. I would say the offensive line is the heart and soul of the team just because of the character, the adversity, and all the stuff that we went through. Those guys, I never heard a complaint, not one. I never, they come to practice. They're the first guys on the field. They're ready to play. They have a sense of pride about them. When we get to the places and the heights that we need to get to, they were the first guys to jump in and to help to change this culture and to make it just where we need to be. So I can't say enough about just the adversity and all the stuff that they are unsung, but they are just probably the most important part of the change, besides the assistant coaches. You know what? I have the best group of assistant coaches that you can ever be around, or you can ever have, because all the guys are experienced. They all kind of know, and it's the one thing when you have, and I'm not saying young or youthful or immature coaches, you begin to panic, but I never saw a sense of panic out of anyone. I just know that we're together, and they just been doing a fantastic job. Maybe I panicked.
You've only got 4 games left before that. Looking ahead next year, how tough will it be?
You know what, he is the one position that when you see without him, how we kind of went along and we were fighting uphill. But now I'm feeling we just starting to level off and beginning to start to go downhill. With him, you just can't replace him right away. What he can do and what he's done, what he means to the program. What you just got to do, you just got to kind of cut back and just find out whoever's the next guy in line, what he can and cannot do, and just work around him. The best thing about him, whoever the guy will be next year coming in here, the pieces around him are very good. You know, they'll have 4 starters back on offense, and the offensive line. The receivers will be back. The tight ends will be back. The running backs will all be back. So at least you got everybody around him. It's not like this year we had nobody, you know, hardly any starters, but you haven't experienced everything else. And that's the other thing. If you don't have the quarterback, you just rather have the everything else.
In light of like how well Griff has played in the last 3 weeks, I mean, do you think back? I know it was so hard to hold him out because of the injury you had. I mean, you could have played him,
Right.
basically. You could have played him in those last non-conference games before you got back into conference play. How hard was it to do that, to keep him on the sideline when the program was struggling, when the fan base was all over you, you know? when you knew that that was a guy that was going to, with him in the game, you're much more competitive.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about Griff, and just knowing, just the knowledge of him. I think he's a very honest guy, and he will tell me what he can and cannot do. And if he said he couldn't do it, he just couldn't do it. And you know, I never want to put a young man in a position to play when he probably doesn't want to, or can't, or shouldn't be playing. You know, so and I just felt that I trust him. I mean, I think the decisions were made right, and hey, you know, I mean, the public, whoever, I'm the guy at the helm, so just, you know, criticize me, because it really was my fault, but he just couldn't do it. So there was nothing that, you know, anyone can do, and I'll take the criticism for protecting a young man. You're killing me, guy. I'm just getting old. Good grief. You know what? I just think my wife got something up her sleeve. I don't know what it is, but it'll be something. It's always you know, she has bigger imagination than I do, so it'll be something. I tell you, it'll definitely be something. The 5th, Monday, 51. You know, here's what I'm getting now. I've been to almost every high school locally that I can. I've gone to some in Baton Rouge. Everybody has kind of embraced us of what's going on, what has happened to the adversity. You know, there's some concerns, but I think the coaches kind of understand, because everybody has had a season where it wasn't touchdown left and touchdown right. So I would say that we are probably received as well as we possibly could be as of right now. The young men right now, you know, it's early on in recruiting. You know, everybody's got commitments and everything, but the reception with the players are very good. You know, I think just by having a school that academically is sound as this one. I mean, you can compare this school academically to anyone, and then just being in New Orleans, everybody kind of knowing we're starting to get the stadium going, and our affiliations with the guys from the NFL and the Saints, and you know, we're starting to play better, and they see that we're not just telling them freshmen are going to come in and play. Freshmen are actually coming in. You know, Lorenzo Doss made 2 interceptions this week, big plays for us. So they're looking at it and saying, "Wow, you know, this may be a chance." And it kind of it reminds me a little bit of Boise when they kind of got their little deal started. So that's kind of where, you know, we are with it. But I'm just pleased right now. I hope so. I just hope so.
Any more questions?
Thank you, guys.